So now we're going to get into the spoiler section of Deadpool and Wolverine. So first things first, they make it very apparent in this film. This film is very self-aware.
Yes,
in a very meta way, which is like Deadpool.
Yes, absolutely.
This has the most fourth wall breaking of any of the movies.
Yes.
The most by far.
Yes.
Like, it is straight up like Deadpool is talking to Fox Studios and Disney, shit like that, and Disney and Feige
and everybody,
everyone.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. He makes jokes about Ryan Reynolds. He makes jokes about Hugh Jackman. He makes jokes about literally there is nothing off the table on this one. Everything is on the table, and it was great.
The Fox jokes literally killed me.
The opening of the movie is Deadpool, and he is in a forest, a snowy forest, like we've been seeing in the trailers. A lot of people were speculating that this was going to be the opening of Age of Ultron, but it's not.
Oh, that'd have been cool.
So he's in a snowy forest, and he is digging up Logan from the end of Logan.
Which that was the first question surrounding this movie, is how are they going to bring back Wolverine without tarnishing Logan?
Right.
They just dove headfirst into that.
They literally disrespected the entire ending of that movie in the most Deadpool way possible, and that's what makes it so great.
Yeah.
There are going to be people on Twitter that are going to shit all over it, but
of course.
I mean, it's so fucking funny.
It is.
So, he's digging down to the grave, and the whole Deadpool, he's like, all right, well, that's that's like the point of healing factors is that, he can regenerate. And then he gets down and he's like, and this is what I was chuckling about a minute ago. He's like, ooh, Yahtzee. And then
he's like,
He's like, and then he starts freaking the fuck out in the grave. And he's like, fuck. So then come to find out, and then he pulls out a metal skeleton with like dead skin and shit hanging off of it. So then they're sitting there talking, and he's like, man, I really need you. Like, this is not good, fuck. So then the TVA shows up, and they're telling Deadpool, you need to put down your weapons and come with us. And Deadpool says, put down your weapons and come with us. And he says, I'm not going to give you my weapons, but I'm not going to use them. And he doesn't. He then proceeds to rip apart the bones of Wolverine and kill all of a bunch of TVA agents.
Dude, he's just plowing through them.
To Bye 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 by NSYNC.
Yeah. As he's dancing to it.
And it's
on beat.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, he straps the Wolverine claws onto himself, and then he opens him up, and then he takes us back to the dewy slopes of however many weeks ago.
Now, at this point, I was getting worried because I was like, okay, is the whole Wolverine thing like a joke? Like, is he not like actually a part of this movie? Like, is it just going to be like a big joke? He was. He was the main. He was the main. Yeah. It took a second for him to get going. But then obviously we see, his battle with the TVA, and he's trying to find a Logan to restore. So
you're skipping over a lot. Logan or Deadpool takes us back to how he got into this predicament. So basically, this takes place
2018.
No, this is a couple of years from. I think it is literally a year since Deadpool 2.
Well, Deadpool 2 came. Oh, so 2019.
Should have, somewhere around.
Yeah,
there. I guess it is like a year jump in between the time.
It would have had to be pre-Endgame because of the Happy Hogan talking about Iron Man. Would have had to have been 2019 pre-Endgame.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So probably 2019.
Yeah.
And that's actually the first thing we cut to. Deadpool is talking with Happy Hogan about joining the Avengers.
Just hilarious.
Really crazy cameo by Jon Favreau. Fucking love Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT.
He is the GOAT.
So Jon Favreau is sitting there talking to Happy Hogan. So they're talking to Deadpool about joining the Avengers, and then I don't know. It's a lot of jokes and it's a lot of really little stuff. But the basic gist of this conversation is that Deadpool was telling him, my girl doesn't think that I'm like worth it anymore. Like she doesn't want to be with me anymore.
Yeah.
And I want to matter. That's a big thing that they keep.
It's the big theme. Yeah.
They say it a lot in this movie. I want to matter. Now
it means
it means a couple of different things, right? So like I want to matter To Deadpool, in the terms of the story, he's saying, I want to matter to Vanessa.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But subliminally, Deadpool is saying, I want to matter in terms of movies. Which is really...
Yeah.
I told him in the theater, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, they're basic... Like, the subliminal message that they're trying to get across is, if it's not in the MCU, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. And that's throughout the whole movie.
They say it a lot.
They say it a lot. Yes.
So Deadpool says, I want to matter, and then he keeps saying, I need this. He says it a couple times. And then Happy basically says, well, that's the thing, is that the Avengers aren't here because they need it. They're here because people need them. Mm-hmm. So then Deadpool kind of takes a second, and Happy tells him, thanks for coming, but we're going to, we'll keep an eye on you.
Yeah, keep an eye on you. Yeah,
we'll keep an eye on you.
I like the part where he was like, I've been on a special ops mission, but everybody died. Happy's like, what? She's like, but they fell out of a plane according to the police report. Like, there's just so many. There's so many just.
There's a little
jokes.
Recaps and stuff. There's a lot of jokes, a lot of stuff about Tony Stark, a lot of whatever. Yeah.
And then he goes and he's a car salesman, and he's selling Kias. Which, as somebody who has a Kia, I appreciated the shout out. And they he
does nothing but talk shit about Kias the entire time.
Anyways, I love how he talked shit about the Honda Odyssey.
Yes. And
then later on in the movie, that came, and he was like, fuck. Mm-hmm. Like, that was so funny. But I think after the scene... So basically, he's a car salesman with Peter from Deadpool 2. Yeah. Peter got him a job where they work... That's never really explained, but they either work together at this car dealership or Peter just got him the job. But they're working together, and Peter says that he has the Deadpool costume in his locker. Yeah. And he says, just in case we ever need it, and Deadpool says, I'm done. I retired. I'm not doing it anymore. Right. And Deadpool has a horrible toupee. It's really bad. Yeah. So then, he gets off from work, and him and Peter are on their way back to Deadpool's house. And they get upstairs, and, first of all, someone takes a picture of him. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, fucking TVA. And they get up to his apartment, and surprise, it's a surprise party because it's Wade's birthday. Yeah. Which, okay, I'm going to pause for a second to talk about another complaint. The whole Vanessa thing in this movie kind of felt a little odd because... It did feel out of place. Because, A, they never really explained why they're not dating anymore. Oh, they definitely did. But did I miss it? Yes, you did, I guess, because and she has good reason as to what she said. Like, I thought that was the... Okay, well, I guess I'll just continue talking about it. But the whole thing with... The other thing that doesn't make sense... It didn't feel out of place. I shouldn't say that. It just sucks to see, and it's like, well, damn. Because, the end of Deadpool 2, you were like, oh, fuck yeah, he brought her back, like, happily ever after or whatever. And they break up. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it felt like such a quick, like turnaround from that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And again, I know what you're going to say what the reasoning is. I thought that was more of a mind fuck thing from Cassandra, but... that's not. Because that wasn't what happened. So, at Deadpool's party, he's going around, he's saying hi to everyone at the party. So, Blind Al is there, Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Yukio are there, Colossus is there, everyone. Dopinder is there. Mm-hmm. TJ Miller isn't there, thank God. Fuck you, dude. And Vanessa is there. Yeah. So Wade and Vanessa are sitting next to each other, and Wade says, hey, thank you for coming. And she says, yeah, of course. And then he says, how are you doing? And she says, I'm doing good. How are you? And then he cuts and they cut each other off, and he's like, are you seeing anybody? And she says something else, and then she's like, oh yeah, I am. I'm talking to I'm seeing somebody else. Yeah. And he's like, oh, how's that going? And she's like, well, he hasn't gotten me shot yet. She's funny for that. And then he's like, give it time. It's still new. Yeah. So that is why they broke up. So basically, I mean that, and then I'm assuming Deadpool has this notion in his head that I think is played out to be that's not why she broke up with him, but he thinks it's because he thinks that Vanessa thinks, stay with me now. He thinks that Vanessa thinks that he does not matter to anybody or is not an important person because he gave up Deadpool. That's what Deadpool thinks happens, but that's not what is happening. Deadpool gave up being Deadpool, and Vanessa
it's like fucking with Wade, and like Wade doesn't, he's like depressed or whatever, and Vanessa leaves him for that reason.
Okay.
Because later when they're talking and she's like, you're like, open up to me, like you're not talking to me, like what's going on, like you need to, you know.
Yeah.
And she basically she's telling him, you need to do something that matters for you so that you can feel better.
Yeah.
But he takes it as, you need to do something that matters because you don't matter.
Okay.
So it's not, Wade is taking it a completely different way, and that's not what happened. Like, you know, and that's why when Cassandra is in his head and she says that shit, that's not what happened.
No.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so they go through that, and then in the middle of the party, we hear a knock on the door, and we know this from the trailers, it's a TVA, and Deadpool, in the most Deadpool fashion, immediately starts making pegging jokes, which was hilarious.
He's like, which is new for Disney, and then looks right at the camera.
Yeah, which is, again, hilarious. And then I thought he was about to just fuck him up again, but they ended up throwing him into the portal, the TVA portal. He talks to the TVA agent. What was his name?
Mr. Paradox.
Mr. Paradox.
So
is how could you not be a villain with the name Mr. Paradox?
Similar to how Mobius.
Yeah.
Similar to how Mobius was talking to Loki in season 1. It's the same room. It's the same everything, except it's not Mobius. It's
Mr. Paradox.
So Mr. Paradox is talking with Deadpool, and we all think that he's here because of what he did at the end of Deadpool 2.
I love how they just brushed that off completely.
Yeah, they were like, no, that's not why at all.
Like,
because Deadpool was like, yeah, he's like, I know why I'm here. He's like, because I messed up he's like, I brought a couple of people back with Cable's time thing, and he's like, and then I destroyed it. He's like, what's wrong with that? And then Mr. Paradox says, that's not why at all.
Yeah.
Basically, come to find out that there are certain things in every universe called anchor beings, and these anchor beings are central to the survival of said world. We think that Dr. Mr. Paradox, whatever the fuck his name is. Sorry, there's a bunch of different shit I'm trying to say right now.
Yeah.
Mr. Paradox tells Deadpool, you're going to join the MCU because you should, pretty much. Like, you know, someone upstairs said that you're really important. And we, someone upstairs says that you're really important. I don't see why, but you're really important.
Yeah.
And we want you to join the MCU, and you can be there with Thor and Captain America and whatever.
They show like a montage of all the coolest MCU moments.
But they say the MCU. They don't say the MCU. They say the sacred timeline because that's the MCU, whatever.
Right.
So Deadpool's like, okay, yeah, word. And then like he goes over to he's like, would you give me one moment, please? He goes over to the camera. He grabs the camera.
Fuck you, Fox.
Yeah, and he's like, fuck you. He's like, suck it, Fox. And he like headbutts the camera. And he's like, fuck you. And then he spits on it, and then he walks away.
Yeah.
Really fucking funny.
I love the cut after that, and you just see him like walking, like you have the angle from Mr. Paradox, you just see him walking back, like, what the fuck did he just do?
Yeah. Very Deadpool.
Yeah, very Deadpool.
So
you also are missing the fact how when he's explained the anchor beings, he thought he was the anchor being.
I was getting to that.
Oh, you were getting to that?
But this is when we get to anchor beings and whatever.
Yeah.
He's basically like, yeah, you're going to join the MCU because your world is going to die. Like, your world's dead already, pretty much. And he's like, oh, well, what the fuck? And then he explains what an anchor being is. And then again, Deadpool. To be honest, I thought he was talking about Deadpool too. To be honest.
I figured he was talking about Wolverine.
Because I didn't know that they were connected like this. Because the Deadpool movies have always been like in their own little side pocket.
They've been like very loosely in the X-Men universe.
Yeah, very loosely. So exactly. So I was like, oh, okay. So it is like, it is Deadpool then? But then like, no, it's not. It's he basically, because then that's what Deadpool says, and he's like, so I'm the anchor being, and then he starts laughing. And he's like, Mr. Paradox starts laughing. And he's like, all right, well, no, you're not. He's like, Wolverine is.
Yeah.
And Wolverine died. Which timeline thing? Now this is fucked up. Logan takes place in 2025.
Yeah, but it could be 2025 in a different universe.
Why would it be in a different universe? Yeah, it's the same universe.
Bro, this Marvel stuff gives me a headache.
So then...
Is that because we have... He talked to Happy before Endgame. I know that.
Yeah, but then... Okay, yes, but then all the events that happened after then... like with him working at the car garage and all that shit, that must be.
But hold on, because Logan's been dead. Like he saw his decayed corpse. Like it's not like he just died.
So it's been a while too.
Oh shit, you're right.
Holy shit, 2029.
I think the in-universe explanation is that the TVA either knew this was going to happen or it just happened, and they changed times when they moved him to different universes.
Okay, yeah, that makes it must be like he's jumping to the end of the timeline.
He's jumping to the end of the timeline.
Okay.
Yeah,
because Logan is the end of the timeline for everybody. Like, okay. Because I was thinking about this when I was watching Deadpool 2. We're gonna get back to Deadpool 3, but just this is something that I just thought about, and we need to discuss this. So I was thinking about this. If Cable did not go back in time to try and kill Russell in the prison in Deadpool 2, Deadpool would have died in prison.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, he had cancer and
no one was going to let him out, so he would have died in prison.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
So Deadpool would have been dead back in 2018 because of that. Mm-hmm. Which means that all the other events with all the other mutants and everything still would have transpired, and then Logan still would have happened and all that. So now with Deadpool being alive, like that also fucks shit up. So this is a whole big mess now. I mean, this universe is not, because it's not new to timeline fucking messes, but
timeline fuckery. Well, I think that's the point, is that, like, again, Deadpool doesn't matter. So Deadpool's death doesn't have an effect on what the TVA's timeline is,
I guess.
But then when he's alive, and because Cable, like you said, fuck with time, and Deadpool's alive, they're like, oh shit, I guess you're special, basically, because he broke the sacred timeline, obviously, and he used time. So I think that's kind of a meta way to say that nobody thinks he matters, but he actually does matter, because realistically he shouldn't be alive, if that makes sense. Yeah. I
mean, again, just something I thought about. But
no, it's a good thought. I hadn't thought about that, but you're right.
Yeah.
But you're right.
So basically, Mr. Paradox says, we're going to put you in the MCU, and they give Deadpool his nice new suit. Really funny scene.
Yeah, they slap his ass about 5 times.
And they grab his nuts 5,000 times.
Your costume designer's a pervert.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Whatever. And then he's like borderline sexually assaulting just a regular worker on the floor of the TVA station.
just going off on him. Just flirting with him. Guy calls HR.
Yeah.
I want to know how HR works at the TVA.
Yeah, for real.
What do they do? Send you to the void?
Yeah.
So they get terminated?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
So, yes. So now Mr. Paradox is talking with Deadpool and basically tells him, you're going to go to the MCU or you're going to stay in your universe and we're going to kill your timeline, because I like the way the old TVA works, and the old TVA would have just killed you and your whole timeline. But we don't do that anymore. I guess. So, and I want to do that and whatever. So he's doing this whole he's playing God pretty much. He has a God complex. Yeah. And so then Deadpool says, well, you're going to call up your super, this is before this happens. Deadpool says, okay, well, I'm going to go get a new Wolverine if there's no Wolverine in this timeline. Mm-hmm. So that's what he does. He goes and this is a very, very cool scene.
Yes.
With a lot of really, really deep pull comic book references. Strictly comic book references.
The short Wolverine fucking killed me.
So he goes in this universe, and the first one he sees is Logan, and he goes up to him, and he's like, all right, you're going to come with me, whatever. And Logan jumps off the bar stool, and he's like literally the size of the bar stool.
Yeah, he's like 4 foot 5 inches tall, yeah.
And he's like, well, hello, you little comic accurate fucking asshole. And he's like, you're going to come with me, and then whatever. So then he jumps back to a bunch of different universes, and he's, there's one from X-Men Apocalypse, the comic book series, not the movie.
Yeah.
So there's Apocalypse Wolverine. There's the brown and yellow suit, which was dope as fuck. And he was like, wait a minute, don't you fight the Hulk wearing this suit? And then there's Hulk right behind him. And then he gets, really, really cool. And then I'm saving the best one for last. So
Yeah.
I'll
There's
let
the
you
one
say
where
it.
his on the-
I'll let you say it. But
There's the one where he's on the cross and it's like pouring rain.
yes, that's
I forget
another.
what that's from.
That's a cover.
Yeah.
I forget what cover that's from. Probably the death of Wolverine. That
Probably,
comic.
but like, there's just so many cool little. There's
so many good Easter eggs. There's I'm trying to think. I'm surprised you didn't throw in a Marvel Zombies reference in there if they were doing comic books.
Yeah. I would have loved if they threw in a I don't know. I have no. I mean,
Patch. Patch is another one.
Yeah.
Patch is in there.
They could have thrown in an X-Men 97 reference.
They could have.
Yeah. That would have been hilarious.
But yeah, so then there's this one, and I'll let you describe it.
So, yeah, this one was the best one. I think
Hands
this is the
down,
one that's everyone's going to talk about. Deadpool's walking up to Wolverine, and you see like the back of him. He's in like a white wife beater, whatever.
Fucking ripped, by the way.
Like actually jacked, and you can tell that it's not Hugh Jackson. Wow,
you did it again.
I did it again. Wow, I've done that. Hugh Jackson, by the way.
What's crazy?
What?
Hugh Jackman's middle name is fucking Michael.
That's wild. I'm gonna call him Hugh Michael. So Hugh Michael
Jackson.
Hugh Michael. Fuck you. So huge Jackman, right?
Yeah.
You can tell it's not him, but you're like walking up, and I'm thinking, who is that? And Deadpool goes, "You kind of look like," and he turns around.
No, he goes, "You kind of look like Henry Cavill."
Yeah, and then he turns around, and it's fucking Henry Cavill. And he makes a joke about, "We'll treat you way better than they did on the other side."
Oh, he's like, "We'll treat you better than the people up the street."
Yeah.
And then Logan says, or like Henry Cavill is like, something about you're gonna get out of here, or get the fuck out of here, something like that.
Just the most
so cool.
Hilarious,
cool.
I had heard Ryan Reynolds talking about how. By the way, this is a quick point to point this out. This movie did a great job of not letting shit leak, because if I would have seen any of the stuff I saw in this movie on Twitter, I'd have cried.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, they purposely, I think, sent out a lot of fake leaks. So the other day, Jacoby had told me about, there was a rumor that Henry Cavill was going to play Magneto.
Yeah, I saw, because I saw an image of a leaked picture of Henry Cavill. I'll see if I can get it to Mike before Monday, and he can put it in.
Yeah.
Of Henry Cavill as Magneto, but he's like wearing the X-Men 97 Magneto costume. And I was like, that's kind of interesting, but it's also kind of weird, like whatever.
Yeah,
but
I did not like that.
Ryan Reynolds had already said that they had sent out fake leaks to throw people off the scent.
And that was one of them.
That's genius, by the way.
Genius.
That is absolutely genius.
Because I wasn't even thinking about this, and I didn't even know this. When I was watching the interview they did on Hot Ones, huge Michael Jackson said that they actually had a big legal issue with X-Men Origins Wolverine because somebody leaked the whole movie online.
And whoever leaked it actually went to prison.
They were the first person ever to go to jail for like leaking a movie. So obviously,
the guy leaked the whole script onto the internet.
He leaked the whole movie.
But it was it was the whole movie, and it was like 2 days before the movie came out.
Yeah. So Hugh Jackson literally said like, I did that on purpose. He said he got a call and he was like, like 2 to 3 days before the premiere, hey, the whole movie's online, like people, like millions of people already seen it. And like, how fucking disappointing is that?
How irritating is that?
You know? So this movie, I mean, that was amazing. So then he goes to what we see as our main Wolverine for this movie, his timeline.
Yes.
And we see immediately that he's an alcoholic and that he's not well liked in this universe. And Jacoby, the whole movie was like, tell us what happened. They don't tell us what happened until probably the middle of the third act.
And this is actually my other complaint. Thank you for reminding me. But this is when they do end up explaining what it is. It's just kind of Logan telling you what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't show anything.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to it when we get to this part, because I don't want to spoil it yet, but how they say it, it's stupid. But anyway, Logan is not liked in this universe at all.
No, and we're like kind of like, what the fuck, because he's a hero in every other universe, and
everyone loves him in every other universe. So why does he not?
And we see that he's just a major alcoholic, and oh my god, whatever. So brings him back to the TVA. There's a whole thing going on with that. They said you can't just, Mr. Paradox is like, you got the worst Wolverine, so good job.
He literally says, I would have been okay with any other Wolverine, but you picked the worst one.
Picked the worst one, and then he explains that he was responsible for the destruction of his universe.
Right.
And we're like, what the fuck? So then they get sent to the Void.
They get sent to the Void. They fight. They have a very cool fucking fight scene.
They do fight together. That is pretty cool. They fight the whole movie though.
Yeah, but
they have like 4 fight scenes.
This was like the first time they actually do fucking fight, and then whatever. So they're fighting. They get into a fight, and then someone yells up from very far up, and he's wearing red on the cloak, so you think it's Captain America.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
but because Deadpool's like, oh,
is that?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
so excited about
and so
it.
then we see it is Chris Evans, and he comes down and whatever, and then a bunch of other mutants show up, and this is where we see Pyro, this is where we see Sabretooth, this is where we see Toad, and they're all whatever. It's like very Mad Max style, and Deadpool makes a joke about it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
and then they're sitting there for a moment, and Chris Evans is actually doing he's like talking like Captain America.
Yeah, he is like very stoic.
Very stoic, very whatever. And then Deadpool's like, he's gonna say it. Watch, he's gonna say it. And then he's like getting ready to say something, and then Deadpool goes Avengers, and then you hear Chris Evans go Flame on, and he fucking lights up, and you're like, yeah, I was like, fuck yeah.
I love the original Fantastic Four movie. Like, I'm probably I feel like the only person on earth who genuinely, the second one, garbage. The first one, I love it.
Yeah.
And like to see him come back, and I was telling Jacoby on the way back home, I was like, I remember an interview a while ago where they asked Chris Evans if he would come back as Captain America, and he was like, probably not. The story ended, perfectly, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, what about Human Torch? And he was like, that would be a much easier sell. And when I saw that interview, I thought, you know what? He's going to come back as Human Torch. There's absolutely going to be a day. Now, I thought it was going to be like in Secret Wars or in like Multiverse of Madness or a movie adjacent to that, whatever. He came back in Deadpool 3, and it's perfect. Like, it's just perfect.
So good.
And again, it reinforces the theme that non-MCU movies don't matter. They got sent to the void. He referenced Reed, so we know pretty much the entire
all of that universe.
Yeah, all that universe got sent there.
All of the Fox. Yeah, so this whole movie is a big actual love letter to Fox. They say fuck Fox a lot, and they talk shit about Fox, but this whole movie is a giant love letter to the Fox universe.
I agree with that.
And all of the franchises that were involved with Fox and all the other properties that came, and we'll get to it later. But
yeah.
There is, so they end up getting captured because Pyro apparently can just take all of Human Torch's power, which okay.
I thought they were going to kill him right there. I was going to be mad, but he stayed alive.
He stayed alive for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
For a little bit longer. But they get captured, and they're getting taken to Cassandra Nova. Oh, not before Wolverine and Sabretooth have their big battle like they were going to have in that little clip.
Dead.
Yeah. They run at each other, and Logan cuts his head off. And that's literally it. That's the whole fight.
And I love how Deadpool acts like Wolverine's like his enforcer.
He's making a reference, but I don't know what reference he's making. Because I don't think
Gladiator?
It was might have been some Gladiator mixed with Furiosa, because he says Furiosa.
Yeah, he does.
So it might be Mad Max too.
Yeah.
I don't know the reference he was doing there, but there is a reference there.
Yeah, and then they just trap them all in that giant magnet thing, and then they trap them and everything.
Yeah.
And
so then they take him to Cassandra Nova, and Cassandra Nova lives in a large Ant-Man suit.
Which that's got to be Hank Pym, right?
I don't know who that is.
That's got to be Hank Pym, because if you think she's 20-something years old, that's got to be... I was thinking that's got to be Hank Pym. That's got to be the original.
We do not know how old she is.
I mean, she looks...
She lives in the void.
I guess doesn't... The
and
time
the void
goes
has
in the void.
no time.
Yeah, you're right.
Literally, she could be fucking millions of years old.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she could be... I was thinking that was a Hank Pym Ant-Man.
It could be Hank Pym. It could be Scott Lang. It could be anybody. I mean, it doesn't...
I wish they made a joke about that. Well, they did. Other than the Paul Rudd thing.
Yeah, the Paul Rudd joke.
Paul Rudd finally aged. Yeah, that was funny.
So Cassandra Nova shows up, and this is where we see OG Juggernaut, dude. Yeah. And then Deadpool makes a joke, and he's like, "Oh, you're this movie's Juggernaut." Very funny, because Ryan Reynolds was Juggernaut in Deadpool 2, voiced him.
Yeah.
So there's him. There's the red guy, who I always forget from First Class. Yeah, Ezekiel. It's something like, I think it's Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Lady Deathstrike from X2 is in the crowd.
Psylocke.
Psylocke, not Olivia Munn Psylocke.
Yeah, no.
It's just a Psylocke.
So they probably couldn't get Olivia Munn to do it, because I think they would have preferred Olivia Munn, truthfully.
That's probably who they were trying to get.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think she agreed.
But it's just, I don't know. There's a bunch of different mutants from a bunch. There's someone else too that I'm trying to think of.
I think it was very cool how we didn't see anybody from the MCU in the void. And again, that's just more subliminal messaging of like, the MCU is the only one that matters. Like that's exactly what it is, because
that Marvel is trying to tell us they're trying to clean house.
they are.
And they're trying to get rid of all this other confusing ass shit about, okay, well, this universe is Marvel, but this universe is Marvel property, but it's owned by somebody else, so it doesn't have the Avengers.
Fox, and then this one,
and
Sony.
They're trying to cut it all out.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get rid of all of it, and Marvel is telling us, from now on, none of this shit matters. We
the big dogs.
We are the universe that matters. Yep. And the next one they're going to do it to is Sony.
Oh, I was thinking too. I was literally, as you were just saying that, I mentioned to you that this was one of the only movies in my life where I don't think they heard no about anything they wanted to do.
No.
Except, I'm sure they heard no about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
If they had their way.
I don't think that's Marvel was telling them no. I think Sony was telling them no.
I agree. Yes. Sony told them no.
Sony was telling them no.
But I think if nothing was off the table.
Dude, Sony
so weird
clutches onto Spider-Man like a fucking child with a blankie.
Yeah,
they do not let him go.
They barely even let him go in the MCU. They barely even let him do that. So I guarantee
honestly, it was a miracle that Toby and Andrew showed up in No Way Home.
Yes.
It's a miracle.
Yes, they absolutely would have done some Spider-Man stuff, but Sony was not having it, and I guarantee that's the case.
They absolutely would have been all the Spider-Man shit.
But that's not a complaint. Yeah. That's just that's a Sony thing. I don't blame Marvel,
because I could totally see it where, like, after the events of No Way Home, the TVA went into those universes where the heroes were redeemed or the villains were redeemed.
Yeah,
and it wasn't supposed to go like that. And the TVA went in and fucking cut them out.
Yeah,
and now those universes are now in the void.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, that totally.
And to cement this whole thing about with Fox, there's literally a 21st Century Fox logo sitting in the void, in the dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny.
Like, just cement it.
Yeah. So you just nail it home.
So, but yeah, so whatever.
This is where we get this is where we get introduced to Cassandra Nova, who is
very powerful.
Main protagonist. She's one of the main protagonists.
Antagonist.
Yeah. And thank you. I passed film school. Thank you. She's one of the main antagonists, and I don't think that she had as much, like, I hate to sound like I'm chronically online, but aura, for lack of a better term. You
did say that word a lot on the car ride home.
I did. And it's honestly, it's not a bad word to describe what I mean. She is extremely powerful, and she is definitely an imposing threat. She's the sister.
They literally say she's an Omega level mutant.
Yeah, because she's the sister of Charles Xavier. She said she was in the womb with him.
Sister, yeah, so comic accurate. I don't know a whole lot about her, but she basically tells you because no one knows who she is.
Yeah.
And she is the daughter. She's the twin sister of Charles Xavier, but in the womb. And in this universe, she gets taken by the TVA before she even left the womb. So she literally was raised in.
I want to know how they did that.
The void.
I want to know how they did that. I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, we're not going to think about that.
Anyways, she spent her whole life in the void. She's crazy powerful. There are a few distinct differences between her and Xavier. Like, she has to physically touch you to read your mind and everything.
Your head, and she,
but that
her powers, her powers are so weird. Like, she literally has like matter manipulation.
Yeah, she was like throwing them around like rag dolls. Like,
she's putting people in the dirt like it's like they're like nothing.
And to, I guess, get back to where we currently are in the movie. And talking about Human Torch, she snapped and bro turned into flesh and bones.
Yeah, literally like dropped. Took his flesh off of him.
Yeah.
And he just like...
And this was not after... This was after Deadpool talked mad shit about him, and we thought that Deadpool just snitched on bro for no reason. And then we see in the post-credits scene that he actually said all that, which was hilarious. But anyways, she's extremely powerful. And again, Deadpool and Wolverine kind of have no chance against her. They get bitched around.
Yeah, Deadpool or Wolverine tries to attack her.
And because they like surprise attack her, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So then Eliath shows up from Loki, and Deadpool makes a funny joke about it. He's like, "Oh my god, it's Eliath from Loki season 1, episode 5."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a Sentinel leg sitting in this little Ant-Man Coliseum thing.
That was a Sentinel, you think?
Yeah, it was a Sentinel leg. And Logan jumps onto it and he like kicks it to turn the thruster on, and Deadpool jumps on and they take off, and they end up landing, and they find another Deadpool who I really don't know what we call this Deadpool, because he's not
feminist Deadpool. That's what he said.
He's like pretty pool. Yeah. Nice pool.
He's
nice pool.
Yeah, nice pool. That's nice what it was, yeah. With the dog.
Well, first we get dog pool, which adorable. Yeah. I mean, he's not adorable. He's a fucking ugly dog.
As fuck, but he's adorable.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'd die for that dog.
Go to war for that dog.
Yeah, facts. And many people do throughout the course of this film.
right. That's why I said that.
So, Nice Pool, I guess, shows up, and he is Ryan Reynolds wearing a very like leathery suit, and it's like, and he's got really, really long hair.
Yeah, he's got the ponytail.
Yeah. And he's like a man bun. He's like a hipster, weird Deadpool.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, basically they end up going there and they're talking to somebody about. Well, first we got to that diner scene because Logan says he smells food. Or whatever. They first land and they land first, go to the diner, and then they meet Nice Pool.
Yes, yeah.
So they go to the diner and they're talking, and Deadpool keeps trying to ask him what happened. Like, why are you?
He's just telling him, "Shut the fuck up."
Pretty much, yeah. Literally, like it doesn't matter. Shut up. Like,
yeah.
And so yeah, that's the whole thing. And then they leave. They meet Nice Pool. Nice Pool says, "I can get you to where you need to go." Where are they trying to get to?
To meet the Resistance.
Yeah,
they're trying to meet the Resistance.
Okay.
And the problem is, so he gives them the car, which is a Honda Odyssey, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's really funny.
And then
Avril Lavigne starts playing when they're driving. Which
and they drive, and they just
a lot of needle drops in this movie that are fucking great.
Yeah,
a lot.
They keep driving, and then they just cannot get along.
Avril Lavigne.
Yep. Was
at the premiere.
Advil Lavigne, yeah.
Advil Lavigne, yes. Because
of
the headache you get after you listen to her music. I'm sorry.
Oh, hell nah. We got to cut that shit out, bro. That's crazy. Anyways, well, the funny thing about the Honda Odyssey is that they absolutely fucking destroy it. You mind doing that right in the mic? I thought I was talking anything.
That was for you in post.
Fuck you. The funny thing about the Honda Odyssey is that they barely even drive it. They just like try to kill each other in it. And
we do need to talk about this because Logan does this monologue that is of the meanest shit I have ever heard anyone say in a movie ever.
That was so funny.
It's funny, but it's like I also was like, holy shit, dude.
No, it's deserved though because he lied to him.
So. Yes. So basically the whole reason that Logan is even putting up with Deadpool in the first place and how he gets Logan to go with him on this little journey is he says, if we get back to Paradox, he can fix my world and he can fix yours too. I promise. And so then they're driving and Deadpool says, if he can fix your universe, and then Logan fucking flings the car around and he goes, did you just say if?
Yeah, and you're like, uh-oh.
And you're like, oops. So then Deadpool says that he doesn't know he made an educated wish.
I'm going to start using that for Kaylin.
Yeah.
That I made an educated wish.
Yeah.
That's going to be, give me a lot of trouble.
So then Logan says, I'm doing my absolute best to remember this monologue because it is some of the most foul shit I've ever heard.
Immature.
He says, you're a fucking joke. Like, no wonder the Avengers didn't want you, let alone the X-Men. You're a fucking joke.
Yeah.
You're immature. You're annoying.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then he goes, and then he starts getting loud and he's like screaming.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck. All I'm going to say is I remember the end of it where he says, it's one of God's best jokes that you can't die, and the joke is on everyone else.
That was brutal.
That's the mic drop to the fucking monologue.
That was insane.
That's when I was like, oh my God. And then Deadpool doesn't say anything. He's speechless.
Which that is like...
And Logan's like, oh, now you don't want to fucking talk.
Yeah.
And then Deadpool says, I'm going to fight you now.
Yeah.
And then they start fighting, and they fight for like 2 days.
Yeah, they fight just... You just see like the time lapse of the day and night, and they just fight and they break every shard of glass. They
destroy everything in the car.
Well, it's the funny thing is because it's a fight that never ends. They can't kill each other, so they're just shanking each other, beating each other, whatever. And then at the end of the fight, we just see them both. Deadpool's wrapped in the seatbelt.
Yeah, he's wrapped in all the seatbelts.
And they're both covered in blood, and we just see somebody walk into the car and drive them off.
Now, we're gonna get to the people who but. I'll ask you after. Never mind. I'm sorry. Okay. So we drive off and Wade wakes up and he's actually in the Hulk's bed from Ragnarok. The giant jaw thing.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
I think so. I did
not notice that.
Again, I have to watch it again, but
yeah.
So then he wakes up and there is no one in the room And except for Wolverine is just enjoying himself drinking.
Yeah,
because whatever.
I bet you it was Jack. Did they say? Did they show which
it
one?
It was Jack.
Yeah, it was Jack.
So then some people walk in, bro. This shit was fucking cool.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So first one we get, Jennifer Gardner Electra.
Hell yeah.
Jennifer Gardner Electra.
Hell yeah.
Thought to be the worst casting in the worst movie of all time, next to Catwoman.
Catwoman's worse. No.
And yeah, damn.
Yeah.
That was a. Oh, but they don't stop there. It's literally a revolving door.
Yeah, it is.
There's no like we're gonna introduce her, then 5 minutes later we'll introduce him, and then him. No, it's her. Wesley Snipes Blade.
I love
Wesley Snipes. Cap it off, fucking Channing Tatum Gambit, dude.
And I got to give credit to Jacoby. He called that shit.
I did. Literally right before we left for the theater, I said, I feel like we're gonna get Gambit in this. Channing Tatum Gambit. I literally said.
And we've been talking about the Channing Tatum Gambit movie that never happened for years. So for them to make jokes about it, I love how the whole time his character is like, yeah, I wish I could have done that. Yeah, like they're making jokes about it the whole time.
So basically, like he's like, or we're gonna do what we've always done, which is save people, and then Gambit would say like, or wanted to save people, something like along those lines, and it's just so fucking good. And dude, for anyone who was wondering what that would ever look like, it's amazing.
It looks great, but it sounds terrible, but on purpose. Like he's
he just sounds Cajun, and that's how Cajun. Like even in '97, that's how he talks.
No, but he sounds like
it's over exaggerated.
It's
really over exaggerated.
They make a joke about it. It's hilarious
because every time Gambit tries to speak, and he's like, "God, I want to know what you're saying." Like
Yeah.
So yeah,
I know Channing Tatum had so much fun doing that.
And then Daphne Keane. Yeah. Showing up as X-23.
By the way, we've been talking on Twitter. That is not a joke.
No, it's actually.
We've been DMing on Twitter. Yeah. She's cool as hell. I'm not.
We've been DMing. She sent you one message, and she liked one of your messages.
2. So just throwing that out there. Anyways,
but yeah,
we're getting married, so whatever. Sorry. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we get the whole. By the way, you're missing the part with Gambit. I didn't know if they were going to make Gambit cool, if they were going to make him just a giant joke. And when he flings the card and breaks the bottle of Jack, we were like,
awesome.
Oh, shit.
Because it's actually Gambit, not Gambit from X-Men Origins. Like, this is
By the way, they were supposed to do it, and I remember what you were saying the other day. They were supposed to do it in X-Men Origins, but they were also supposed to do it in The Last Stand. That was the first one they were supposed to do him in. And they wrote him out.
That's why I said, okay, so Channing Tatum Gambit, for anyone who's like, wait, when the fuck was that ever a thing?
Yeah.
It wasn't, infamously. Because all the way back in X-Men 2000, the first ever X-Men movie, X-Men, or like Gambit was supposed to be in that movie, but he was written out like last minute.
Yeah.
And even back then, Channing Tatum was actually casted as that role all the way back then.
Yeah.
So Channing Tatum has been trying to be Gambit for like over 20 years.
Yeah. And when they made after The Last Stand and after Origins, when he didn't appear, they actually greenlit a Gambit solo film, and he was announced at Comic-Con.
But after X-Men, he was supposed to be in X2 through Last Stand.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he got written out or cut out every time.
Pretty much, yeah.
And like he never even shot anything.
No.
And then in Origins, he was supposed to come back for Origins, but he couldn't because he was doing G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, yeah.
So then, after that, there was a Gambit movie that was greenlit and it was supposed to happen. It was announced at Hall H San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes, he was there.
He was there. It was supposed to happen. It got greenlit. Everything was going on. And then, nope, Disney and Fox shit started going down.
Well, from what I heard, from what I researched, there was production hell even before the Disney Fox thing. Apparently, they went through 3 directors in 5 years. And like
sounds
nothing
like Blade.
Which, great transition to Blade, which I'm one of those people that I think I'm one of the only people I know that have seen the Blade movies and actually like them. Like I understand that they're. Like,
I actually have the Blade sword sitting right there.
I know that they're like garbage, but I just love them.
I've never seen. I want to watch them.
They're so campy, and this is another point I want to make about this movie.
It's not. They're not campy. They're just very Y2K.
No, they are.
They're very Y2K.
But they're also campy.
But that's like all of them back then were.
No, I know that. I'm saying but it's hella campy.
Like in the original Spider-Man movie, one of the lines is, "You're the one who's out, Gabi. out of your mind.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Like,
there's a lot.
Fantastic Four is the same way. Ghost Rider is the same way.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's a
Daredevil's obviously the worst fucking one.
Yeah. So the thing about this movie that I love is that they know their stuff so well. They make little references to every single property.
Ryan Reynolds is chronically online. That's what we're learning from this movie.
There is multiple Blade references that I picked up right away. First of all, they mentioned motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. That was one of my favorite lines from Blade.
That's way later, but the first one that you mentioned in the theater.
The first one I mentioned in the theater was Blade said something to Deadpool, and Deadpool goes, "Yeah, well, you've never liked me." The reason they made that joke was because
he said something about I don't like. Wesley Snipes was like, "I don't like you," and Deadpool goes, "You never have."
Yeah, the reason he said that was because Ryan Reynolds was in Blade 3, and they notoriously had beef on set of Blade 3. So that joke was. But
they are very good friends because there is a video of.
Yeah,
there is a video of. First of all, Wesley Snipes would not have come back if he wasn't very good friends with Ryan Reynolds. Right. If they hadn't have squashed that beef, he would not be back.
And he was notoriously kind of insane on the Blade 3 set.
So, and not only that, but there was there's a video that's been going on online now since the movie has come out of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman introducing all four of these characters onto stage at Hall H.
Yeah.
After they showed a clip of, I'm assuming, this scene, and Wesley Snipes comes out and he hugs Ryan Reynolds, and they sit there and they actually hug for a minute, and they're it's they're good friends. They're friends.
So I just love it,
or acquainted at least.
And the joke they made to Elektra about we don't have a Daredevil, and
she's like
that's okay.
No, because they were talking about who else has also been in the Void.
Yeah.
So they say Punisher, which they don't say which one, but we're gonna hold on because we're gonna get to this other scene where they bring that up. So then they say Daredevil too, but they're like, but he died.
Yeah.
And then Deadpool goes, "Oh no, you guys lost Daredevil," and Deadpool is definitely thinking of Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
He's thinking of Charlie Cox Daredevil, but Elektra goes, "No, it's okay."
Because it was Ben Affleck.
Because it's Ben Affleck. Now, could you imagine how fucking funny it would be if Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill showed up in the same fucking movie?
In the Marvel movie.
In the Marvel universe.
Yeah, right.
Dude, the Snyder cult would go fucking ballistic.
I think they already are with the Wolverine thing.
Yeah.
I think they already are. And I'm totally here for it.
I'm waiting to see that shit pop off on Twitter.
Oh gosh, I'm so excited. But anyway, so then they have this whole heroic, we're gonna go save the universe and
let's
do all
fucking
this and
go.
And Wolverine's like, bro, I ain't doing that shit. So the next scene we get a scene of him sitting by the campfire.
Very
and X-23 walks up, and as soon as X-23 walked up to the campfire, I immediately got Logan vibes. Like that shit hit me like a bus.
Oh yeah.
And she says that
you remind me of him.
You remind me of him, and he basically says, "Well, I'm not the right one," and she goes, "Well, you never were," and I was like, "Bro."
And then so it's basically she's saying like Logan never has been the right guy until he needs to be, or until he until he is pretty much.
And he actually opens up to her a little bit and tells her about kind of what happens.
Because it's very funny because it's almost like Logan in this universe understands that she's his daughter.
Yeah.
In another timeline, in another universe, that's his kid.
By the way, what version of X-23 do you think this is?
The same one.
The Logan one?
Yeah.
Why was she sent to the Void, do you think?
I was thinking about this, but I'm not sure.
Do you think maybe it's because she was, not obviously that she killed him, but she was kind of the reason that the anchor being died?
Might have been.
I mean, yeah. I was thinking about that too. I was like, I don't know why she's in the Void.
Yeah, me too. But then again, I mean...
Every non-MCU person is basically in the Void.
But she did get to go back to her universe at the end. So that's good.
Yeah, true. True.
But anyway, so... yes, they're sitting there talking, and Logan finally says what happens, and this is where we get to, again, it's a complaint. It's definitely a complaint. Logan is talking about what happened to the X-Men, and Logan says that he always was... First of all, she says the suit, because she's like, you look nice. She's like, I like the suit.
Yeah.
And he goes, he's like, oh, you like it, huh? And then he goes, yeah, Scott always begged me to wear it.
The fans.
Scott being...
The fans.
Yeah. Scott being the fans, and also Scott being Cyclops.
Yeah.
But he was like, but I always said no, and I used to just do nothing but sit and tell them how ridiculous they all looked and whatever. Which, again, accurate. Logan does that.
Yep.
And he said he came home one night, stumbled home from the bar, and apparently while he was gone, humans broke into the X Mansion and killed all of the X-Men.
Yeah, what?
What?
Humans broke into the X Mansion with multiple Omega level mutants.
So we're going to break that down, that statement. Humans broke into the X Mansion that house Storm, Jean Grey,
Xavier,
Charles Xavier,
Beast, Cyclops,
who has been known to destroy a fucking school.
Probably Quicksilver. I mean,
if we're doing all the X-Men, let's just fuck it. All of them, man.
Like,
Colossus.
Magneto never pulled up at any point.
Yeah, Eric wasn't there.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Now, I told Jacoby, I think that's kind of I think that's just a lazy writing, because if they would have said something about early edition of the Sentinels or something, because that's something we know can kill the mutants.
Unless this is something that I just thought about. Which, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Finish your thought and I'll say mine.
Yeah, I mean, unless they said, oh, the Sentinels were there and they almost, like, basically said it was like an even battle, but because I wasn't there, they didn't win or something. Like, any kind of threat that could have taken out the mutants. You're telling me a bunch of humans just... Yeah. And I understand. I'm fully aware that they hate the X-Men, and I totally get that there's basically like racism towards the X-Men. I totally understand that. How were they able to kill the X-Men?
There's no amount of humans that could kill X-Men.
Like, even if they brought the fucking military, like, they don't stand a chance.
That might have been it. Like, the military did it.
But the military is not taking down the X-Men.
Yeah, but if it was...
Unless they nuke the building.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, what if
they didn't specify
rolled that. Up? But again, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't specify.
But okay, unless the whole humans killed the X-Men, unless that's another subliminal thing saying that the fans killed the X-Men.
No, and that's great. And that I think that could work.
Because that does check out, because every canon version of the X-Men we all fucking hate.
Yeah.
The last last ones of the franchise, the reason why there's only like 3 movies of each of the new ones and the old ones is because we hated the end of them, and we killed them.
Yeah, I agree that there's subliminal messaging, but plot wise, it's so
yes,
confusing.
And that's but again,
yeah,
that's why it's a complaint.
And we
don't see it.
I would have loved to see not even a scene of the other X-Men, because they probably couldn't get. He had a funny line where I was like, I wish they could have got the other X-Men, and he was like, yeah, bro, James Marsden's too busy running around with Sonic. So that was pretty fun.
Yeah, like
okay. But I would have loved even a scene of him like walking down the street drinking his fucking liquor, and then you just see like a huge flame. Like, that would have been some nice visual storytelling. But instead we just get a flashback, which, again, complaint.
There is no flashback. It's just him.
We get a verbal flashback.
Yeah.
And again, minor complaint.
And even X-23 is like, she's like, I don't need to hear it. And he's like, no, I need to say it.
Yeah.
And which was nice again, but yeah. I don't know. Very weird, very strange.
Yeah.
But then so then the next day comes and they're rolling up to Cassandra Nova's places.
I'm keeping this in.
I have a concussion.
Shut up.
I have a concussion. I have an excuse, okay? So they're rolling up to Cassandra Nova's hideout in the Ant-Man suit in the Honda Odyssey. And everyone's there. And this is when we get some more talk about the Punisher, because X-23 hands Wesley Snipes' Blade a giant rocket launcher, and he's like, holy shit, where'd you get that? And she's like, that's Punisher's. And he's like, okay, I've been meaning to ask that, which Punisher, because there's been like 5. And she says, what does she even say?
I don't know, but then I know
something about yeah, because there's been like 5. And then I think that's when Blade just cuts him off and says, I'm Blade, and I'm the only Blade, and I'm the only Blade there's ever going to be, which is a hilarious reference. Fucking big,
hilarious
big nod. Not even a nod, bro. That's just a jab. That's straight fucking...
We were talking, we were like, dude, if I was Mahershala Ali, I would be fucking pissed.
Fuming.
I would be fuming. I've been trying to get this movie fucking made for 10 years. These directors and these executives don't know how to fucking make this movie, and I go to watch Deadpool, and they're making fun of me. Because I feel so he has been trying so hard to make this fucking movie.
He has, and it does suck, but hopefully he took it on the chin and laughed at it and could laugh at it, but I don't think...
Yeah, because celebrities never really have an ego.
Yeah,
That's a
I don't think he's gonna laugh at that. I think that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be one of the jokes that someone's gonna get pissed about.
There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of jokes that people are gonna get mad about. Dude, can you, well, now that it's James Gunn, I think it's different. But could you imagine if it was still the Snyderverse hearing that fucking
dude?
Well, they wouldn't have been able to got Henry Cavill, but like, you get what I'm saying. Like, can you imagine that?
I'm saying Zack Snyder might be pissed about that.
Fuck him. I don't care.
I know, but it's funny.
Yeah, I know.
It's still funny that Mahershala Ali gets mad at it. It's still funny.
It's still funny.
Like,
and it's true. But Deadpool is like a vessel between the fans and the big screen. Like, he says what we're all thinking.
Exactly.
And that's what makes him such a good character, is because he is so meta and he understands everything that's going on, every fan opinion, every, thought about everything, every inside joke. He gets it and he brings it, and it's just so fun.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, the last little bit of this movie is very
it goes quick
because we're even going long on this episode, and they wrap it the fuck up here.
They do.
They show up, we get a really cool fight scene with all these characters that we love. Gambit's there,
I love that they gave them all little moments in the sun to be cool.
To be cool again, to let them shine again. And that was awesome. Seeing Jennifer Gardner flip around and do electric shit, even though I never watched that god-awful movie in the first place.
You know what's funny? I was talking about
Blade pulls out his little, bat fucking batarang weird thing. He pulls that out. He don't even have the sword in this movie, I don't think.
I don't think he did, no.
I don't think he has the sword. He has the gun, though.
Yeah.
So then Gambit's fucking awesome. He throws these cards.
They gave Gambit some cool shit
They gave Gambit a lot, because this is the only movie that this Gambit has ever been in.
Or will ever be in.
Oops. Maybe, possibly.
Well, he got cooked at the end, brother.
He did?
Yeah, because they jumped through the sling ring and then
Yeah, but X-23 shows up at the end, so they didn't all die.
Oh yeah, how the fuck did she...
Exactly. Anyway.
Okay. Anyways, I didn't even think of that.
But Gambit does this really cool thing where he throws cards into guys that are all around him, and then he goes boom, and he holds the card, and they all blow up around him. And it was like, fuck yeah, dude! Yeah. The staff, he has the staff, and the staff is lighting up, dude. It's literally ripped right out of the comics. It's awesome.
Other than his stupid ass accent, he's so fucking cool. Yeah, but the accent's on purpose. We forgot. Deadpool made a joke where he was like, "Who is your dialect coach?"
Yeah, he goes, "Who is your dialect?" Yeah.
That was really funny. Then we get to Cassandra Cain. We already talked about this
Cassandra Nova. You keep doing that. It's not Cassandra Cain.
I'm so dumb. I can't. Whatever.
She's not Batgirl, bro.
We've already talked about the Cassandra Nova part. It was not our favorite.
Yeah, it's not great. But whatever. Sure. We got to wrap it up. We got to get to the end of this movie. So
plot vessel. Yeah. They got him back to the MCU timeline. Sure.
No, they got back to the Deadpool timeline.
Yes, you're right. They initially got back to Deadpool timeline. They fall right on the sky. And Peter just looks like a proud dad. Sends them off. Whatever. So then they go. And
they fall back and they land in the car dealership.
Yeah.
So then they run off.
Yeah.
They go to so then they go into the street, and I do want to call this out because we have to call out the creators, because without the creators, none of us would be here talking about these movies and all this shit. They get sent through, they get flown down the street by Cassandra Nova.
Yeah.
And they get launched into this shop, and they come out of the shop, and the name of the shop is Liefeld's something with feet. Now, Rob Liefeld is the man who created Deadpool way back in the 80s or 90s. And I think it was 90s. And Rob Liefeld is infamous for not being able to draw feet. And they also made a joke about it in Deadpool 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, that's
not
funny.
all of them. I think they've made a joke about Rob Liefeld in all of them.
That's funny.
And Rob Liefeld was at the premiere and whatever. But yeah, shout out Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
Without you, bro, none of us would be here. Nicepool shows up, and Dogpool shows up again. Nicepool shows up again because the sling ring's open, and now all the dead people are coming out. The dead pools are coming out.
Yeah.
And they're basically like, you're fucked. Like the dead.
Why do they want to kill him again? I forget.
Because they're just crazy. It's just the dead pools kill everybody. That's just what they were told.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of really cool references, a lot of really cool nods. There's head pool, kid pool, baby pool, lady pool.
Blake Lively, by the way.
Yes, it is Blake Lively.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Which is confirmed.
I was so worried it was Taylor Swift.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my gosh.
It did kind of look like her.
Yeah, that hair was a little too blonde.
Hair was a little bit too blonde. She was a little bit too skinny. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. We're like,
Now I don't know if it was her in the suit. It could have been somebody else, but Blake Lively did the voice of Lady Pool.
I'm surprised they never revealed, because I thought that would have been.
I'm surprised. Well, again, this is a Sony thing, bro. Low key, we should have got a Gwen Pool.
That's it. Yeah, Sony said no.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Yeah,
because again, I said the only thing they got no from was Sony.
Yeah, I
guarantee you, when they sat down to make this movie, they said we want Toby and the Void.
Because Gwen Pool's very popular.
Yeah, she's arguably the second most popular Deadpool.
Yeah, she really is.
And but again, that's a Sony property. So
but yeah, Head Pool's here, Dog Pool, fucking Lady Pool, Kid Pool, like all of them. There's Samurai Deadpool, there's Cowboy Deadpool, voiced by Matthew McConaughey. And yeah, there's a lot. I don't know who did Head Pool though. I would be curious to see who did Head Pool. He sounded familiar.
He did.
It would be funny if it was like Gilbert Gottfried.
No way.
No, it's not. It's not. I think Gilbert Gottfried passed away. I'm not going to lie.
I think so too.
So anyway, Wolverine and Deadpool fight the Deadpools all together.
I think it's hilarious though, before we talk about that he used Nice Pool as a human shield.
And he's like, dude, you just fucking got him shot. And he's like, I did no such thing. And he's like completely playing it off like he's not trying to get him killed.
But I don't think he knew that he didn't regenerate. So
no, he really didn't know at first, but then like he just kept doing it because he wanted his guns. He wanted his gold.
He's like, aw.
Yeah. He's like, and I'm going to carry these around in his memory, of course.
Yeah. Gold deagles. Those were so cool, by the way.
And even I love how too, like Logan at first is like he really does not like Dogpool, but then by the end of it, he's like, okay, just stay here, like whatever.
And then Deadpool and Wolverine fuck up all the other Deadpools.
But Wolverine puts on the cowl.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
He fucking throws on that cowl, dude. And it looks so good.
Yeah, it does.
He does wear it for like the last like 10 minutes of the movie. It's great.
Yeah.
So then, they're fighting all the Deadpools. Whatever, they get to the end, and all the Deadpools regenerate because that's what Deadpools do.
Yeah.
And then Peter shows up wearing the original Deadpool suit from the first couple of movies.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Oh my god, we all have a Peter. Yeah, we love Peter."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, we won't kill you if Peter's here. Like, we'll relax, whatever." And they're like, "Okay, good." So then like they sneak off to go deal with Cassandra Nova. Long story short, because they play it off like it's this whole big thing, but long story short, there's antimatter and matter tubes, and basically Paradox says to turn it off, you have to like transfer the energy between yourself. And it will, but if you do it, you'll die. It's a little bit, whatever. So then they go down there, and Wolverine is like, "Let me do it because I got nothing else. Like you have a whole family to get back to. Let me do it." And so then Wolverine goes to do it, and then Deadpool not like fucking nails him in the face with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah,
and then like runs in, closes the door, and locks it, and then like goes in like he's going to do it, and then Deadpool says. Because Wolverine, you hear Wolverine yelling at him. He's like, "You're you stupid fuck! You're gonna die in there, or whatever." And then he's like, "You don't need to do this." And then Deadpool says, "I don't need to do this, but they need me to do this."
Calling back to the Happy Hogan monologue. Yep.
And it was like, damn.
Yep.
Damn.
And he's like fucking with him. He's like swimming away, like walking down the stairs, like.
Yeah, he's like fuck yeah, he's fucking with him.
He's like, I'm stalling my own death.
Yeah. So then he grabs the tube. Like he grabs the wires inside the tube, but he can't reach the other one. And then Logan he breaks in.
Yeah.
Right as the world is getting ready to be
the timeline is
it's like it's
losing its what do they call it? They're losing its
integrity, I guess.
Yeah, like timeline integrity. Yes. Yeah.
So then, but then Wolverine shows up, and they pull a Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, and they share the energy between the two of them, and they because Paradox says it will. Yeah, I've mentioned that it will kill you if you do it by yourself. Yeah. But then it doesn't because they share the energy between them. Yeah. And then basically,
which I love how it ripped off all of Logan's like top. Yeah. And he's just shirtless and just like actually huge jackman is what he is. Yeah. And then all the girls are like, he's like, I'm fine. Yeah, girls you are.
Girls and guys.
Yeah.
Girls and guys.
And he's like, what does he say? He's like, put a shirt on, you slut, or something like that. Yeah.
Put a shirt on, you dirty slut.
Yeah. So it's a great ending. And then Paradox gets sent to prison in the TVA void or whatever the fuck, and then
they didn't send him to the void. They just took him away.
I assume they sent him to the void, but they just sent him away. And then
also the main lady, the black lady, she's from Loki. She's like,
I know.
Yeah, she's it was cool to see her.
She's
back.
The officer. Or whatever.
Now we do got to talk about this. What did that thing do to the timeline? Are they in the Deadpool verse or are they in
That's what I'm saying. I
the
don't
sacred
know.
timeline?
I don't know because they went back to the X-Men. I'm just gonna the X-Men universe.
Yes.
They went back to have dinner. But I assume they're still there.
Also, really funny joke after he's like shawarma. I mean,
Yeah.
Logan's like,
Yeah,
I can eat.
Yeah, the Avengers thing. Yeah.
Really funny. And then Deadpool goes, funny thing is like the Avengers actually like the
invented shawarma.
No, it wasn't. They discovered it. Yeah,
discovered shawarma. Yeah. But they got to be back in the X-Men universe.
I don't know though.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, they're for the dinner scene. They definitely were. I wonder if they're gonna bring him back at some point because Deadpool's not. He's gonna be in the MCU again. Like, let's just call it. Hopefully, it doesn't take 6 years this time. You realize it's been 6 years since we got a Deadpool movie? That's crazy. Because the first two were out in 2 years apart from each other, and then now it took 6 years. Mm-hmm. That's nuts. Anyways, they're gonna come back. Well, he's gonna come back. I don't think Wolverine's gonna come back.
Yeah, I don't know if Hugh Jackman's gonna come back.
Of the line that it said.
Will I see you again?
Probably not. Yeah, that was a little head nod to the fans.
But then, and again, this might be another like subliminal thing. Is he says probably not, but then he says Logan, and then it shows them eating dinner and they're like together.
Yeah.
So and also X-23 is with like she gets her Logan back, he gets someone to be with, and then he gets Wade, and now also in this universe too, Logan has Colossus again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's still other X-Men that are still running around in this universe that Logan can.
I also do think that it very much leaves the door open for him to be in Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm. It does. It really does.
And there's been a lot of reports that it's him and Toby, and it's going to be Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom.
No, it's not going to happen.
Which
I've heard Chris Evans. Whatever. Everyone's going to come back.
Yeah,
for something. Maybe not to reprise their roles, but for something.
To a certain degree, I think it's like Deadpool did it great, but I think don't just bring back everybody just to bring them back. Like people in this movie.
Another thing I love that this movie does that really, really like it made me laugh, but it wasn't funny. It made me laugh because I was like, finally, someone fucking said it. Mm-hmm. Deadpool straight up, because when the Deadpools all show up, Deadpool finally goes, "Can we stop with the multiverse thing?" Yeah, and he's like, it doesn't work. He's like, we've been doing it, and he's like, and it's really not working, and there's no return for it. And he's like, can we please stop?
I give Marvel a lot of credit for making fun of themselves.
Credit for making fun of themselves for that.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that was them, but I do think that Feige definitely read that joke and was like, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Again, they did not. I guarantee you, they did not get a no from Marvel or Disney. Yeah. And I bet you, Kevin Feige had to fight tooth, and that's why he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT. He had to fight tooth and nail with Disney. This is a Disney movie. There's in the first fucking 20 minutes of the movie, there's a pegging joke followed by, which isn't new for me, but it's new for Disney. Wink.
Like,
yeah, a little wink at the camera. So Kevin Feige is the fucking GOAT. By the way, shout out Kevin Feige. He got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yes, he did.
Much deserved.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this movie was great. The end credit scene, again, is just another meta joke because we always expect the end credit scene to be important and set up the next movie or the next villain or the next whatever. And the end credit scene was just proof that, which by the way, he's back in the TVA, which is one thing I didn't think about, but whatever. He's showing the camera footage of Johnny talking shit about Cassandra Nova
to prove himself,
saying exactly what he said. I think he actually said more in the video.
He probably did,
yeah, which is just hilarious.
And he goes, "Gotcha, fucker," and then like walks away or something like that.
Fucker, yeah. So great movie overall.
Amazing movie.
This movie is so meta. It's so self-aware. No jokes are off the table.
Dude, there's a fucking
great directing by Sean Levy, by the way.
Oh yes,
well.
absolutely,
great directing.
Absolutely, he will go down in history as one of the greatest directors of all time. I will stand on that.
This is his third straight banger movie with Ryan Reynolds. They're about to be a duo for years.
I mean,
years.
Yeah, the Adam Project,
great, Free Guy,
yeah,
and then which by the way also had Marvel references in there.
Yes,
Chris Evans made a little cameo. Yeah, and then Deadpool 3,
I mean, Sean, and then not to mention that Sean Levy's just also done a lot of others. Like, he's just great.
Yeah.
He's an amazing director.
Yeah, he is.
And I really do think that, like, keep your eye on him. He's going to be a big one.
He's going to get, I I think he's gonna get either a Star Wars movie or a future Marvel movie. They were eyeing him to direct Secret Wars, which after seeing this movie, I see why. It's great.
Well, I mean, for Marvel, it's just whoever did good for this last movie. If you did good, you're gonna direct it.
We'll give you another shot.
They would have wanted James Gunn to direct it if he didn't say "fuck you" after Guardians 3.
Yeah, basically. So, yeah, who knows? But I love this movie. I thought it was great. I know we spent over an hour just yapping about the movie.
Yeah, but like I know this is a different video than we usually know. When we usually do. Bear with us. I physically I can't do a whole lot right now.
Yeah,
I'm still recovering and whatever. But just bear with us for a little bit. We're gonna be doing this for a little while here, and so, yeah.